Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Escorts Limited Investor Conference Call to discuss outcome of today's board meeting of Escorts Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I would now like to welcome the management. We have with us Mr. Nikhil Nanda, Chairman and Managing Director, Escorts Limited. Mr. Bharat Madan, Group Chief Financial Officer and Corporate Head, Escorts Limited. And Mr. Shenu Agarwal, Chief Executive Officer, Escorts Agri Machinery and Investor Relations Team at Escorts Limited. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Bharat Madan for his opening comments. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Madan.
Thank you, Faizan. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the briefing on the outcome of today's board meeting of Escorts Limited. Today is a historic day wherein Escorts and Kubota Corporation have reinforced their long-standing partnership, with Kubota increasing its stake in Escorts Limited. While we have put up the investor presentation on the stock exchange's website, following is a summary of the key transaction highlights. Preferential allotment: Escorts will issue and allot 93,63,726 equity shares to the preferential issue to Kubota at an issue price of ₹2,000 per share, amounting to ₹1,872.74 crores. This price represents a premium of 29.5% over the floor price as per SEBI regulations of ₹1,544.16 per share. Kubota's stake in Escorts will increase to 14.99% on expended capital and pre-cancellation of shares, and shall become a joint promoter along with the existing promoter of Escorts. Coming to open offer, the agreement which is signed with Kubota will trigger an open offer, and Kubota will make a mandatory open offer to the public shareholder of Escorts to acquire up to 26% of the share capital. Open offer will be at the same price as preferential issuance, that is at the price of ₹2,000 per share. Kubota's stake in Escorts will increase to 44.8% post first capital reduction and assuming full tendering in the open offer. With a view of making Escorts the exclusive vehicle of business in India, Escorts and Kubota have decided to take necessary steps to evaluate and consider the feasibility of merger of Kubota Agriculture Machinery India Private Limited, the sales JV between Escorts and Kubota, and Escorts Kubota India Private Limited, the manufacturing JV between Escorts and Kubota, subject to necessary approvals. The board of directors of Escorts have agreed to evaluate and consider the feasibility of cancellation of all the residual equity stakes of Escorts Limited held by Escorts Benefit and Welfare Trust, besides the pending capital reduction, which is the first reduction in share capital for which the application was made last year, subject to getting necessary approval. Existing promoters to remain fully invested. Nanda family and current promoter group are not selling any shares of the company. Mr. Nikhil Nanda shall continue to be chairman and managing director and lead the next phase of growth of Escorts with a current set of key managerial personnel. Kubota intends to have Mr. Nikhil Nanda engage in his individual capacity as a non-employee with the proposed designation of Senior Managing Executive Officer and General Manager of Value Innovative, Farm and Industry Machinery, Strategy and Operations of Kubota, besides a proposal to induct him as a director on the board of Kubota's European Business Holding Company, Kubota Holding Europe BV, Netherlands. Mr. Nikhil Nanda's non-employee involvement in the foregoing capacity will not interfere with his role as the CMD of Escorts. There will be no remuneration payable to him for these services. The name of the company is proposed to be changed to Escorts Kubota Limited, subject to necessary approvals. Some of the benefits from the stronger partnership that we can envisage is that Escorts will be the exclusive vehicle for manufacture and sale of certain products in India and for sourcing of those products from India, which will include the existing products as well as the new products which will be jointly developed in future. Escorts will also house a major R&D and innovation center to offer cutting-edge products and new alternative technologies, seamlessly integrating Kubota's global reach and world-class business processes and Escorts' proven capabilities in frugal engineering and manufacturing. This partnership is committed to enhance customer prosperity and accelerating mechanization with the most cost-competitive technologies in India and across the globe. Now I request the moderator to open the floor for Q&A.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. The first question is from the line of Gunjan Prithyani from Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Yes, thanks team for taking my questions and congratulations on this deal. Two basic questions from my side. Firstly, if you can just talk about how the board and the management structure will evolve once this transaction is concluded. And then I'll get to the next question.
Thanks, Gunjan. So on the board side, the existing board obviously is continuing till the time the first transaction gets closed, which will be on the completion of the preferential issuance of shares, when Kubota reaches a threshold of 16.38% after the allotment and the reduction of the capital. So that is the time when the board will be expanded to include 2 more nominees of the Kubota. So there will be 4 nominees from Kubota side and 4 nominees will be from the existing promoter side, and the balance about 8 independent directors will be there. So the board will get expanded to 16 numbers.
Okay, got it. And no change in management, at least for now, is on the anvil, right?
Yeah, there is no change in the management. So all the existing positions will continue to lead the company.
Okay. My second question is basically now if I look after this transaction, we'll have closer to 4.5 or slightly over net cash on the balance sheet. If you can share some thoughts on, this is fairly significant amount of cash, some thought process on how we intend to use this. Maybe you can give us more color on, what the group together, both Kubota as well as Escorts are planning in terms of, market share aspirations on tractor, or how we are looking to scale up the whole farm mechanization, opportunity. If you can talk us more about the overall strategy with this, with the amount of cash we have on the balance sheet.
So Gunjan, after the transaction is closed, so there's a proposal from Kubota to work jointly with the existing Escorts team, management team, and they'll work on the midterm business plan. So it will be for next 6-7 years, and they will really put together there in terms of what are the requirements and what sort of expansion on the product category, which they are looking into. So as you would have seen in the press releases and also in the media interviews with Kitao-san, who is the president of Kubota. So they are interested to expand the portfolio of what company has. So it's not just tractors, they also want to go into harvesters, combined construction equipment, and also in the engine manufacturing space. So obviously those are the areas where we don't know right now what sort of capacity will be required, what sort of investment will be required. So those are the detailed working, I think, which needs to be done. So after the transition gets closed, so that is the time when we'll work on the next 100 days business plan, and we'll look at the next 6-7 years, what sort of investment will be required and what sort of scenarios emerge in terms of the overall profitability and the business case for those investments. So maybe once those plans are ready, they're likely to maybe sometime in maybe June or July, which is the indication which we have been given. So maybe at that time we get more clarity and we'll come back to you.
Is there any already thought on, which Escorts will have to pay for the businesses where it is JV right now?
So I didn't get the question, Gunjan.
So we'll be merging the JV entities also, right? The marketing as well as the manufacturing.
So eventually the merger will happen, and then I think at the time when it happens, so that time will depend on the valuation for those JVs and the swap ratio which we get. So obviously it will be marginal valuation which will happen, but as of now, we don't think it will be significant. But yes, that is something which will be maybe eventually happen.
Okay, got it. I'll join back. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Raghunandan NL from MK Global. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, and congratulations on fortification of partnership with Kubota. Sorry, sir, I missed that part. Can you talk about the usage of cash reserves of the company? Company had 30 billion cash as of March 21, and now another 19 billion cash is coming in.
Yeah, so I mentioned, Raghu, so the company will be working on a preparation of a business plan. So as you would have heard in the media interviews today with the president of Kubota, Mr. Kitao-san, so he was referring to the product portfolio expansion which they intend to do in India. And this will go beyond tractors and to the implement space, to harvesters, combines, transplanters and construction equipment, and also in the engine manufacturing space. So obviously, at this point in time, we don't know what sort of investment outlay will be required. So those are the things which will get hashed out after the deal is closed, and then the both teams will work together. And we expect by June, July, I think we should be ready with the midterm business plan, which we'll be sharing with all of you.
Understood, sir. And, the presentation refers to this exclusive vehicle for manufacture and sale of certain products in India and sourcing from India. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so the idea of this collaboration and strengthening of partners is also to have single vehicle for both the partners in India, for utilization. Right now, like we got two JVs which are running separately and Escorts is running separately. So obviously, since they are 60-40 JV and in this company, Kubota only holds about 9% right now. So obviously there can be some conflict of interest which can come in. So the idea was to remove all those conflicts and have a cleaner structure, on the corporate ownerships and also on the shareholding. So at least the business which is done in India is all done through a single vehicle. So that is the intention when we say all the business will happen through this entity only within India, as well as whatever sourcing happens from India to the global markets.
Thank you, sir. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that the management is able to address questions from all participants in the conference, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, we would request you to rejoin the question queue. The next question is from the line of Amyn Pirani from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Hi. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity. My question was, in one of the releases, where the terms of the shareholder agreement have been outlaid, there is a mention of a lock-in period of 5 years for both the promoters and the Kubota. So just want to clarify, this 5 years, lock-in is contingent on which part of the transaction? Is it the preferential allotment? Is it the open offer? Or, is it a certain stake that Kubota has to go after this the shareholder agreement comes into force? If you can just explain that.
Yeah, so once the shareholder agreement becomes effective, which will be after Kubota reaches the 16.4% stake. So at that time, the entire shareholding of the existing promoter as well as the Kubota will come under the lock-in for next 5 years as per this agreement provision.
Okay. So it is not dependent on the success or of the open offer. It is just, the initial preferential allotment.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. That's very helpful. I'll come back to you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mitul Shah from Reliance Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for taking my question, sir, and congratulations. So can you throw some more light on synergy benefit related to construction equipment?
So Mitul, on the construction equipment, as you know, Kubota is the global leader in the mini excavator space. So the single product line has about $3 billion turnover. And they had shown interest actually in the beginning also that they wanted to use our facility and also our earth-moving equipment capability. And as you know, they are also the largest engine manufacturers and they supply to the industrial equipment divisions. So engine goes to the construction equipment sector as well as in the farm equipment space. So they are quite keen and interested. So that's why construction equipment this time is a part of the overall business portfolio, unlike in the last time when they actually restricted it to only earth moving segment. So this time they expanded that portfolio. So this entire business of construction equipment will also remain under this and collaboration right now. So I think the intent is to not only use it for expanding the domestic, market, but also use the facility and help it in exporting to the other countries to the network. So they already have a distribution network now in the sales JV. So earlier they were using the distribution network with third party in India, but now they acquired that business in KAI, which is the sales JV, and they are already doing the distribution right now in that entity. So gradually once the entity merge and is a single vehicle, then this entire construction equipment business also will get combined.
Thank you, sir. And just last thing, what is the motive of promoter for this deal? Because we are not understanding. The promoter is not tendering any shares, neither is getting any money, and the reason is not coming out that why it's allowing any other entity like Kubota to become a major shareholder with more than 50% holding. So then what benefit goes to Nanda family, or is there any future probability of over a period they may offload gradually or anything like that?
So hi sir, this is Nikhil Nanda. So it's a good question from your side. All I can say is that me and my family are totally committed to the long-term value build-up of Escorts, and therefore there have been a lot of rumors in the market about the family selling. I just want to put those rumors to rest that there is no intention whatsoever for family to sell any shares. We have not sold any share right now, and neither do we intend to in the foreseeable future. So that's one. Second, the Kubota and the Escorts relationship has been being built since 2016 with a lot of trust that I have been able to, along with my team, been able to build with the leadership team of Kubota. The plans that Bharat talked about, be it in terms of the medium-term business plan, which we want to jointly achieve for the FY25 and beyond, is basis the trust of bringing the best of Escorts and Kubota bringing its best to India and succeeding jointly. So it's not about tendering or me not allowing anyone to come in. It's about the two partners who have set forth to build a powerful future to serve the society and the farming community. And that is the vision and the goal with which we have announced what we have today.
Yes, sir. Thank you for very detailed answer, and really thankful from all the investors' point of view that this is really very good strategic decision you people have taken for the benefit of investors and giving confidence to all of us. Thanks, sir, and congratulations.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Satyam Thakur from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening team, and congratulations on the partnership. So, sir, my other questions are answered, but if you could share some thoughts on how the brands and the distribution will evolve here. So, the three brands, Kubota, in the Kubota and Farmtrac and Powertrac, will all three continue. What will be the positioning of the three brands? How will that be differentiated going ahead? And distribution also, will Kubota also be distributed through our Escorts dealerships, or will that remain separate, and how you see that evolving? Thanks.
Yeah, this is Shenu Agarwal. Thank you for the question. As you know, Escorts has built our two main brands, Powertrac and Farmtrac, over the last several decades, and they have some very unique strengths in the market or in the eyes of the customer. Now we will have in the same company a third brand, Kubota, which is also very, very powerful brand. All the three brands we think are very, very unique and very distinctive, and therefore we will try to leverage all the three brands distinctively. Of course, our strategy would also see in which market we make something a lead brand and something a supportive brand, right? But that discussion is going to continue over the next few months, as Bharat has explained. But definitely the intention is to leverage all the three brands because of their distinctive and unique strengths.
Okay, sir. And on the distribution front, has that been decided, whether Kubota will also be distributed through Escorts dealerships? And secondly, in Escorts, we had started separating the distribution of Powertrac and Farmtrac. So will that continue?
Yeah, so on distribution side, it really depends on the brand strategy. Generally, the idea is to leverage all the three brands' unique strengths. But as I said, on regional basis, we might decide for some brand to take a lead position and something else to take a supportive position, depending on the dynamics of market in that region. So distribution will follow the branding strategy. As far as PowerTrack and FormTrack is concerned, we will continue to separate the distribution for these two brands, as this is a strategic decision we took 3 to 4 years ago. About half of the country or more than that, we have already separated it out, and we will continue to do that in rest of the country.
And if you could also share your thoughts on any, and if you were to say that, do you see that in terms of the current positioning of the three brands, do you see anything which is complementary in nature, like parts, like what parts is Kubota better at and which parts of the market in terms of crop types and soil types are we better at?
Sorry, I couldn't gather what you are asking. Your voice is a little fumbling. So can you repeat maybe?
Sorry to interrupt you. Mr. Thakur, please use the handset mode.
Yeah, is this better?
Yes.
Yeah. So, sir, I was asking that in terms of the current positioning of the Kubota product, if you could share that, which part of the applications is that better kind of suited for and a better product for in terms of crop types and in terms of soil types?
Okay. Yeah. So in that sense, there are like big complementaries that we have with Kubota product line, because the Kubota product line in its current shape and form that is available in India is very, very well suited for the wetland markets. Right. So they have actually coming from Japan and having a lot of experience to develop products for the wetland or paddy type of crops. They have huge expertise in developing tractors for that. And that is why Kubota, when started distributing tractors in India, they picked those markets. Right. This is not to mean that in future they will have products only restricted to this type of a market or this type of application. Yeah, but that is their strength right now.
Okay, thank you and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jinesh Gandhi from Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Congrats on this landmark deal. Just continuing on the Kubota brand tractors in India. So, how it will change post this transaction? I believe Kubota brand tractors are initial in the market before this. So, how does it change? Would it be sold now through Escorts network or will continue to be in the Kubota network? That's my first question.
Okay, Jinesh. So, as I explained to Satyam, we want to leverage the strengths of all the three brands, generally speaking, and therefore the distribution will follow the brand strategy. However, in some regions, not just in India, but also globally, we would see and decide which brand out of the three would take a lead position and which would take a supportive position, depending on the market dynamics and the strengths on the unique strengths of the brand. So, of course, that is the general philosophy. As Bharat explained earlier, in the next 6 to 7 months, we are going to make detailed midterm plans, which will also include plans on branding and distribution, and then we can share those with you. But generally speaking, three brands are distinctive in our view, and they will play a distinctive role in the market.
Right. And distribution for each of these brands will remain separate, right? Or there are plans to merge that?
Distribution will remain separate, and it will follow the branding strategy, like I explained.
Okay. Got it. And secondly, on the board seats which you talked about, additional 2 board seats, would it eventually also mean that Kubota will also get any executive positions in the company, or that is not part of the agreement? Hello?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I think in the beginning, so once the preferential allotment is done and Kubota reaches this threshold and the shareholder agreement becomes effective, then they will induct 2 more directors on the board. So right now we have 4 nominees from the existing promoters and 2 from Kubota. and there are 6 independent directors. So after they reach the threshold of 16.38%, then they'll have 2 more nominees coming on board. So we'll have equal board members from both the partners, and there'll be independent directors who will be 50% of the capacity as per the norm. So the 16-member board will be there after the preferential issue is completed.
Oh, no, sorry, what I meant was on the executive side, would they get any executive positions as well?
So right now, obviously, the existing management team will continue. So all the key managerial positions which are there, they will all continue to operate. So that is the discussion and assurance we have from them. So going forward, obviously, in the long run, we'll see how the integration happens when we also have the merger of these companies, and then we'll record a right structure.
Got it. And 2 clarifications. One is the fire lock-in is also for the Nanda family as well, or just for Kubota?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
The fire lock-in which is there for the ownership.
Both the promoters.
Is that both the promoters?
So after the shareholder agreement become effective, both the promoters will have that lock-in. So the concern which we have been getting that the Nanda family is selling out, so it's not just put to rest, so there's a lock-in, so no one can sell. Neither Kubota can sell, nor Nanda family can sell. So there'll be lock-in for that period.
Sure. And secondly, post the second elimination of entire treasury shares, the stake of Kubota will be 53.5%, right?
Yeah, eventually they will go to that position, assuming everything goes through, including the open offer of 26% is achieved.
Sure. Got it. Great. Thanks. I'll come back in queue.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please limit your questions to 1 per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, we would request you to rejoin the question queue. The next question is from the line of Joseph George from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Congratulations on the transaction. I had a couple of questions. One is to get a confirmation from you that as a part of the...
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. George. Request you to please use the handset mode.
Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my question is, can you please confirm whether the trust will tender shares in the open offer or not? Or is that a no, just like the promoters?
No, so trust is declared as a part of the promoter group as per SEBI regulations. So the promoter group is not allowed to participate in the tender offer. So none of the promoters will participate in the tender offer. This will be only meant for non-promoter category.
Sure. And the second question that I had was, is there any plan to, give out a one-time dividend or something? Because this will end up with close to 5,000 crores. I know you've answered questions on that with respect to, new products, etc. But that number is a significant number. It's like, almost 140 rupees per share. So is there a plan to declare a one-time dividend, etc. when the cash comes in?
So I think as of now, obviously, no one expends the capital to give it back to the shareholders as a dividend. So I think the idea is to put it back to the business for growth, and that is what I mentioned. So we'll be putting together a business plan. The idea is to grow the business and also expand into new categories. So we don't know right now what sort of investment will be required for those categories. I think when the plans are ready, I think we'll have better clarity in terms of what sort of cash requirements will come in the coming years. Then we can take that call.
Perfect. So the last question that I had is, Kubota has a lot of products in the farm mechanization space. So, is there a big plan that you're thinking of in India? Of course, the mechanization levels are extremely low, but is there a lot of potential for introducing those products in the Indian market and bringing that as the next leg of growth for Escorts?
Yeah. So as Bharat had explained earlier, I mean, we are not just looking at tractors, but we are looking at the complete farm mechanization solution space, right? So there would be, right now, a few things are clear to us, which is like we do want to participate in combine harvesters, rice transplanters. We do want to participate in the broader implement space. Also, we do want to participate in the engine space. Yeah, but more things will emerge as this partnership continues and goes along.
Good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vikram Ramalingam from Maybank Kim. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir, and congratulations on the big news. My question is on the export initiatives of Escorts. So I also read that the related party transaction can go up to 4,500 crores in the fifth year. And can you expand a little bit more on that and how this whole transaction will help in achieving higher export sales for Escorts, and how would you now manage cannibalization between the Kubota Group and Escorts with respect to exports?
So Vikram, one of the intent of this collaboration is to have a single exclusive vehicle in India, for both the partners. So as you know, we already have got 2 JVs which are running now, and it's a significant in terms of size. So like KI, which is almost 2,000 crores company right now, and KI also, which is a manufacturing JV, is almost 1,000 crores. We're going to touch about 1,000 crores in terms of top line. So both are significant JVs, and there are already transactions happening with a related party transaction between Kubota and these JVs. So once we intend to merge these JVs into this company, obviously this is a listed entity where you got a threshold ceilings for getting those related party transaction approved from the shareholders. So keeping in view the transaction which are already being done in those JVs with the related party, and also the future growth plan which we have in mind, for this company, including exports. So we think this is the ceiling which will be required, which is why we have actually going to seek this approval from shareholders to have a related party transaction approved. And obviously this will come as a part of the plan. So this 4,500 crores is the ceiling which will be there for both purchase and sale transaction, which is a combined transaction. So it will include the existing transaction as well as the one which we propose to do in the future, which will come out more clearly in the business plan.
And just to follow up, how does this deal now help with exports on an independent level, as in if there are new countries you would like to tap or regions you would like to tap? Can you explain that a little?
Yeah, see, there are, several opportunities that will open up now because, as you know, Kubota is a global player with a very established brand in several continents and markets. And therefore, all these markets or many of these markets would need India-like products, right? Or the products that Escorts is an expert on, right? So that channel will definitely open up with much more intensity now. The other also lever would be that India would become, like we explained, would become a global R&D hub for worldwide Kubota and might have the biggest R&D center outside Japan, which will again use the Indian expertise or Escorts expertise to develop more products, which we can now export through Escorts channel or also through Kubota global channel. Right? So all those opportunities will now open up with this, and therefore we are very optimistic on the exports front as well.
Okay. All right. That's it from my side. Thank you for answering the questions.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ishit Sheth from Anvil Wealth Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you for taking my question. My question was on the shares that we hold in the employee trust. So currently, as you mentioned, that we are looking to deduct 9% cancel 9% of the stake held in the employee trust. What happens to the balance 16%, which is held in the employee trust? Also, in terms of voting rights, do these shares have voting rights which are entitled to which promoter now? Is it the Nanda family or the Kubota company?
So the industry answer to the question. So the 9% is the capital reduction which has already been filed last year. So when we did the first preferential allotment to Kubota last year in July, so we'd also passed a resolution to cancel those shares, equivalent number of shares, and for that approval from NSE, BSE has been taken, and we already filed a scheme with NCLT. In fact, last month we also had the NCLT reserve the order, on the scheme, and we expect this reduction probably will get materialized or effective very soon, maybe in few days or few weeks time. Now, as for the balance shares are concerned, we already announced that board will evaluate and look at the feasibility of cancelling those shares too, whatever 15.5% stock which is left now, and eventually those will. So end of the day, both will likely get cancelled.
Okay, got it. Sir, and in terms of Kubota's sourcing this thing, I understand you mentioned that we'll finalize some plans in June, July. But broadly, can you talk about the kind of opportunities? Because as we are talking about, 5,000 crores coming in the company, what kind of capex plans do you envisage? Because globally, Kubota is doing somewhere around 1,60,000 crores of sales. So do they have something in mind where, 5% of it, are they looking to outsource from India, or all this will come and get finalized in June, July?
Yeah, I think this is one of the options. So like I mentioned, because we have been discussing with them, so since the global sourcing is quite high, so when you talked about it's a $15 billion company, when you take 60-70% of the material cost, so in terms of the options or opportunity for sourcing from India, which is a low-cost country, is huge. But that's a potential which we need to explore jointly, because right now, like I said, since they were only holding 9%, obviously those are the items which they would not have transferred to the company. But now when you're looking at it, talking about a single exclusive vehicle, which will be the only vehicle for working in India, then all these have already opened up for us, whether it's export or sourcing of components from India or products from India, including setting up an R&D center. So I think a lot more opportunity which will actually come into play besides your expansion of product portfolio.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. And congratulations on the deal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please limit your questions to one per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, we would request you to rejoin the question queue. The next question is from the line of Ashish Jain from Macquarie. Please go ahead. Mr. Jain?
Sir, my question was, given you said that Kubota has an expertise on the wetland of tractors and all, does it kind of make us more ready to gain market share in South and West, where this was one of the issues in our portfolio?
Yeah, definitely. So the whole idea was, to strengthen each other with our complementary capabilities. We make a certain kind of tractors, and Kubota has expertise in certain other kind of tractors. So when we start working together now under one company concept, there would be a lot of opportunities to see how we can leverage on each other's competencies. So yeah, I mean, wetland, of course, we will get a major boost, as this is the one that we were slightly lacking on in terms of product portfolio.
So my question was more in context of, are there multiple products which Kubota has in their global portfolio, but they have never explored Indian markets for those products? And basically, can it really fasten up the process materially, or you still think it will be a gradual market share increase, and all, at least from product availability point of view?
Yeah, from product availability perspective, as you can imagine, Kubota is a leading player and a leading brand in most of the continents, and therefore you can imagine that, I mean, the product range that they have in India is nothing as compared to the product range they sell globally, right? So they are a kind of a full tractor and agri solution equipment manufacturer. They have products from very, very small lawn and garden tractors to very high horsepower tractors, right? So all that product portfolio now will be available depending on what India needs and what this one company needs, Escorts Kubota needs. But yes, we will have access to all that technology. Now we will have discussions as to what is required, and therefore then we will get that to the Indian market.
Right. So secondly, I know you spoke about the business plan coming out in June, July, but some of the segments that you spoke about, like implementers and harvesters and all, can you at least quantify what kind of opportunity is there in terms of the market size and all of these as it stands today?
Yeah, the implements is not a big market right now, especially in the organized sector. But we all talk about this, that implements market has a huge potential in India. Now, if you look at globally, implements market size overall is twice the market size of tractors globally. But in India, it is like less than 5%. Actually, much less than 5% right now. So there's a huge upside for companies like us to increase our penetration and participation in this market and to grow this market in India. So coming together with Kubota, which has large presence in global implements market, harvesters, transplanters, etc., so that would be a definite benefit for us to expand our presence in implements.
Oh, great. So thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Chirag Jain from DAM Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on the transaction. So just wanted to check now with 5,000 crore of watches that we have, would inorganic, let's say, growth opportunity or acquisition is something that we would actively pursue now? In, let's say, either in the tractor space or probably in the implement space, in which, let's say, we plan to, let's say, expand?
So Chirag, all those options are open. Obviously, tractors, I don't think is a space where more consolidation is possible right now in India. But yes, on implement space, there's a possibility. So now since we have availability of a lot of technical expertise from the other partner, so it opens up a lot of opportunities, for us too, which was not there earlier. So actually we need to sit with them, discuss with them. So what are the complementary capabilities which both partners have and where the gaps are. So actually where there are gaps, there will be opportunity which will be explored. But where we can get the strength from the partner itself, then probably we will not need to look at those options now in India.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shashank Kanodia from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, sir. So the kind of synergy benefits that we are envisaging regarding incremental print farm mechanization and global sourcing. So these were also envisaged as the first leg of transaction, right? So 18 months back. But hardly any progress has been made since then. So apart from COVID, what really held us back, in really progressing upon that partnership?
No, we don't think the idea was, there was no progress. There were a lot of things on the anvil. There were a lot of discussions that were going on. And with this announcement that we have made, a lot of conflicts of interest have been removed because the concept is now working in one company together, right? So a lot of these things, even what you are saying were a little bit slow, would get accelerated now. So as Bharat has explained, both the teams would sit together in the next 6-7 months. We will draw out those plans and then we can divulge more information on those.
And so secondly, what happens to something like 17,000 odd units of tractors which Kubota sells? So these will immediately find transferred and manufactured at Escorts Kubota Limited, and our combined market share now will become the third largest at roughly 13% plus?
Yeah, so when everything merges together, of course, the market share will also merge together. As you know, Kubota tractors are being imported from various other locations outside India, as well as manufactured. Some of them are manufactured in the JV that we have with them, the manufacturing JV. So once that manufacturing JV merges, of course, the production will continue in the plant, in the JV plant, but the company itself or the entity itself will get merged.
Right, but the imported portion will shift to the domestic operations, right? Then this eventually should happen.
It will all be part of one company after the merger.
Sure. Thank you so much and wish you all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Umang Shah from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. So I had a very basic question, and I'm sorry if you have already answered this, but I want to understand what does Nanda family get in this transaction. So our shareholding is going down from 37% to 12%. And what benefit did Nanda family see in Escorts Kubota versus what they were seeing earlier?
But first of all, I think this is a misnomer that the shareholding was 37% because 25% shareholding actually is lying in the trust for which the beneficiary is the company. So if you look at our consolidated financials, we do net off that capital. So essentially it was only 11-12% capital, which
right,
is family. So in terms of what he's getting, are you creating an institution by bringing a strategic partner on board? So obviously it's a friendly deal which has been done, looking at the possibilities of collaboration and how we can grow the business together in India as well as globally. So I'm sure like all shareholder, he is also a shareholder and he also will see his wealth growing the way the other shareholders are looking at this transaction. And the company is likely to do well with all the synergy which are possible now, between two partners.
Okay, and any idea on all the other JVs that we have? Will they continue the way they were, we were working on it, or the plan would be again within 6 months?
Sorry, which JV?
So Tadano JV, for example, that we started.
All other JVs will continue. So we have two more JVs like Tadano for construction, and there's another one in the tractor space for the smaller tractor, which is with the Amul Group, which is called Adico. It's called, which makes a smaller tractor. So both JVs will continue.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kishan Gupta from CD Research. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
So essentially want to understand, like for tractors you have ex-Kubota 10% market share. So how that will shape up post this Kubota participation?
I'm not sure if I got your question right, but still I'll try to respond. So yeah, so we have about 11% market share and Kubota has roughly about 2.5% market share. So once once all the entities gets merged into Escorts Kubota Limited, the proposed entity, then of course that market share will also get consolidated. If the question is about the future growth of market share, of course we have spoken about it a lot, that all the three brands have some unique strengths. There is a lot of technology that is available in the Kubota ecosystem that will be available for India. In any case, we are going to invest in our local R&D to make it a global R&D to develop new products for India jointly and for even outside India. And therefore, all that will add up to our strength in India and globally.
So essentially 13% you said 11 plus 2. So if you can you quantify where it can move in next 5 years? Domestic.
I think we have talked about this earlier also, that our aspiration is to go beyond 20%, 20 to 24% in combination of the three brands. Right now, in terms of timeline, of course, we are working out detailed plans now in the next 6 to 7 months. So we will get back to you, but that is the level of aspiration.
And you talked about this around 2% stake, this market share for Kubota. So where they have done well in India, which markets essentially?
So they have a graduated strategy in entering India for last few years, and of course they are going market by market. So don't read like 2.5% as the overall India market share, because they are not present in more than 50% of the markets in India right now. But right now they are focused on mainly wetland markets, because that is what their current strength is. But in those markets they have a significantly higher market share in those than 2.5%. But at a country level they are at 2 to 2.5% right now.
And you think that you can ramp up further market shares in wetlands post this deal?
For sure, that would be our vision and aspiration.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pranav Tendulkar from Rare Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Hi sir, thanks a lot. Sir, just one query. So after all the shares, suppose the next stage of the welfare trust shares are also extinguished, what will be the final last shareholding? So in terms of percentages, so Nanda family, then Kubota, and then public. These three categories.
So after the last capital reduction for the balance trust shares, and assuming Kubota goes through this complete open offer and they get 26% shares,
right,
and the preferential allotment, eventually they will end up at about 53% shares, and Nanda family will get about 14%. This is pre-merger of the JVs. In merger also maybe some dilution will happen, and they'll get some extra shares, but that will depend on the swap ratio and the valuation which happens at that time. So together they'll be roughly about 68-69%, and the balance will be with public.
Perfect. So 33% will be the public shareholding.
About 30% public.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vimal Goel from Union Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, while your comment on the tractor market, the Kubota has about 2 to 2.5% market share in India. That gets consolidated, which is very good news. Just wanted to understand that we have the similar understanding or structure for the other businesses that Kubota has in India, right? Which is construction equipment and farm implement.
Yes, yes. So construction equipment business is also within the KI, which is Kubota Agriculture India, the company that deals in agricultural machinery. So once KI gets merged into the new company EKL, Escorts Kubota Limited, then that business will also get merged.
Right. The construction equipment and the farm implement as well, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay. And sir, I think you mentioned in one of the questions, you mentioned the potential for Kubota to source the tractors from India. I couldn't get your answer right, but if you could just help me with that number again. What is the potential that we are looking at, in terms of Kubota's global sourcing? What I think you mentioned one number. Could you just repeat that statement for me, please?
We didn't give you a number. We were just giving a ballpark kind of a potential estimate, not a number really, because the number we still have to work out, working with the Kubota team. But I think Bharat was only trying to say that their top line right now, global top line is in excess of 150,000 crores, and therefore the material cost even assuming at 75%. So that is like a large bucket that Escorts can tap into, right? Of course, what will come to Escorts is a matter of discussion and matter of decision, which will happen over the next 6 to 7 months.
So when we talk about what will come from Escorts, and when you talk about cost of materials for Kubota, we are talking of fully built tractors to be probably exported from our manufacturing facilities, right? So Kubota will actually leverage.
We are talking about both. We are talking about sourcing of components, sub-assemblies and aggregates, as well as some tractors for their global network.
Okay, so this will include components as well, which you are not doing right now.
That is right.
And this will be agri components only, agri tractor components, etc.
Yeah, whatever components that we specialized in sourcing, like what we use for our products, of course, those would be the potential components that we can or Kubota can buy back from here.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. Thank you so much and all the very best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ronak Sada from Systematics Shares. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Congratulations on the deal. A question again on the related party transaction for which we'll be taking the shareholder approval. So firstly, can you help us understand what is the kind of transactions that are happening right now, and will this just continue in the new entity EKL, or are we planning to do something beyond the current transactions, and hence we need an approval? Sorry, if you can just explain that again.
So it will be a mix of both the existing transactions which are happening. So there are two sets of transactions. One, the transactions which are happening with Kubota and the JVs, because there they are the related party. With Escorts, they are not yet the related party because they are not the promoter right now. But now after this deal and the shareholder agreement becomes effective, they will become promoter, which means they will become related party. So any transaction which we are doing so far, we're not getting a covered under related party, will also get covered under related party. So what is export potential we're talking about from Escorts, which will happen to the global network, will all be part of those transactions now. So in addition to the existing one they are doing, the proposed one also which will happen from our company will also be part of this transaction.
Right. So this is more in terms of exports and not importing fully built tractors from any of the Kubota entity into India. Is that understanding?
Like we are already
that
doing right now for tractors which are not being produced in India from their entities, which is coming to the JVs now. Obviously, we will not start producing all those tractors immediately in India, so it will take time even if we decide to localize those tractors, depending on the synergies and the volume which we can get from them. Till that time, also it will continue to be imported. And all those imports will shift to Escorts Kubota Limited once the JV merge into this entity.
Got it. Okay. And the second question, obviously, the relationship is 5 years old and we had a preferential some time back, and we are doing this new preferential allotment as well. So it has, the relation has evolved very well. So can you highlight, some of the points which Escorts believe can help them, increase their market share potentially, or what are the tangible benefits or the intangible benefits which you see from the deal? assuming everything now becomes a one entity?
So as I talked about, like this will be the exclusive vehicle for both the partners to do business in India. So obviously there are potential for, first there is a potential for improving the market share here by expanding your product portfolio, complementing the strength of the channel partners for both the companies which today are operating separately. Then also the opportunity for sourcing from India for the global requirements. So there will be export possibility both for finished products, for components, for engines as well as the expanded product category which they introduced now into this company. We are planning to have a major R&D center which will be set up, the global R&D center which will be set up in India, which will be part of this entity now, which will be an innovation center and the new product development which will happen. A lot of outsourcing of the new product development exercises they do globally can also happen to this center, the way we have seen it happening in many other companies. So obviously these are the synergies which right now is difficult to quantify, but this is something what has been, set the expectation for. So I'm sure I think once we start putting it together on a paper, and then we'll get more clarity in terms of what time frame and what sort of synergies can happen further, and what really translate into sort of financial terms.
Sure. And the final question, once Kubota has let's say once the open offer goes through and they have let's say more than 40% stake, will there be a relook at the different businesses Escorts is in today, and will there be a core, non-core assets, or do we plan to continue with all the businesses we have right now? Effectively the railways business and the other JVs we have.
Yeah, so obviously railway is one business where Kubota does not have an interest globally as of now. So the construction equipment and the agri business is definitely the core right now. So on railway, obviously we'll think as of now this business will continue as part of the entity, but going forward we'll have to explore options in terms of what need to be done with that, whether we put this into a subsidiary or look for a separate partner, to help that business also to grow, because the business also holds a lot of potential right now. So obviously we will look at the right partner to really help that business to grow the way we are looking at this agri machinery business with Kubota.
Sure. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhruv Saraf from Ratnabali Group. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is Abhinav Chandak here from Ratnabali. So I have two questions. One question is regarding the shareholding. So post the preference allotment now, Kubota will reach 16.5, and then you will approach the regulators to allow you to cancel the shares. That is the trust shares. Post cancellation, so first clarity I need whether you will approach to cancel the entire 25% stake held by the trust today. If that is the case, the stake of Kubota then moves to 21 or 22%. Okay. Then an open offer happens of 26%. So 22 plus 26, my math tells me it is 48. Okay. So you are saying that post that their stake will be 53.5. Obviously, it's on expanded equity, so there will be calculation. The effective open offer is not for 26, but it is for some 33-34%. Is my understanding correct?
No, it is incorrect. So let me first clarify that to you. See, the Kubota was allotted 9.1% preference capital last year. And at that time, we also decided to cancel the equivalent number of shares from the trust, for which the application has already been filed with NCLT and is pending there. And we are expecting that approval will come any time now. So that is first part of it. So out of 25%, 9.1% is already addressed. When we're talking about 16.4% for Kubota, that is after assuming that 9.1% capital reduction will take into place, by the time we do this preferential allotment. So the initial percentage of shareholding of Kubota after preferential allotment and before capital reduction will be 15% of the expended capital. Post first capital reduction, they will move to 16.38%. After that, assuming they get an open offer of 26%, which is on the expended capital base, and after capital reduction of first phase, the expended capital base, the open offer size will be 28.8% or something, or 28.4%. So they will move up to 44.8%. And then there will be a second phase of capital reduction, which is for the balance 15%. Then they will move up to eventually 53%.
Okay. So effectively the offer is not for 26 but for 28.
26% of the expended capital.
Correct. So on existing it is 28.
So that becomes 28.4%.
Okay. Now the second tranche of my question is that after this there will be dilution for rest of the shareholders when a merger happens. Correct?
Yes, but very minor. They're not very big in the other side. So I think it depends on the swap ratio and the valuation.
But sir, when the treasury shares get cancelled, the extent of treasury shares getting cancelled out is more than what is being allotted to Kubota. So do I assume that the cancellation is going to be shareholder accretive and the merger is going to be shareholder dilutive, and hence you are saying that it will not be too dilutive for shareholders?
No, I think you have totally misunderstood the transaction. The cancellation is 15% of the capital.
Okay.
Merger may give you a dilution of 1 or 2%. So obviously it's accretive to the shareholders. I don't know how you are doing the maths.
Okay. So, but trust today holds 25%. What happens to balance 10? That gets cancelled in the second tranche.
If 10%, 9% is already under cancellation, which should be effective any time now. It's only waiting for the NCLT order to be received. And then the balance will be only 15.5%, which after this preferential issue will probably get reduced to about 14.5%. And that cancellation will happen later, after the open hour.
Okay. I have a lot more clarity now. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit from Rare Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I don't have a question. Just Mr. Nanda, Shenu, Bharat, like many congratulations to all of you for pulling off such a fabulous deal, and wish you all the success in the medium and the long term. So congratulations again.
Thank you, sir, for calling. Really appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Samir Deshpande from Fairdeal Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello, congratulations to you, Mr. Nikhil Nanda, and all the team of Escorts for undertaking such a good deal with the world leader. In our future business growth potential will be quite good. So it is really a rare thing. The treasury stock operation which had happened few years back was at that time questioned by a lot of people that the promoters of the company are taking backdoor steps to increase their stake. But now I think it has been demonstrated that the promoter has acted in the interest of the company and the minority shareholders at large. So Mr. Nikhil Nanda, you need to be congratulated for this.
Thank you, sir. It's my fiduciary responsibility to do what is right, and I believe what we have approved and basically consultation, deliberation of the board of directors, that the structure is clean, it meets all the governance tick mark, and also strategically we bring in a partner that gives a very powerful roadmap of growth for this company for the future, be it for the domestic market and for the global markets. So we are very thankful to the support of our shareholders, and you have my commitment. We will do what it takes to be very, very clear on our growth and expectation on the ROI and on a profitable and a market share growth. So thank you.
Sure. And all the very best from all of us. I had one question to Mr. Madan. Now, this equity, now the new preferential allotment equity will get temporarily diluted, then later it will be cancelled. So actually, I would like to know earlier, our treasury stock was about 3.37 crore shares out of the total 12.25 crore shares of the equity capital, which was around 27.5%. Out of that, we placed that 10%, and later now it will be cancelled, etc. So the net equity would have been, if you cancel the treasury stock, would have been about 87 crores. So now, after all these transactions are completed, what will be the net equity of the company? Would it be 122.6 crores, which is the current equity, or it will be again adjusted because of the cancellation of this treasury stock?
It will further go down because there will be further cancellation which will happen. So I think if you look at our consolidated financials, we already reduced this treasury stock and your net capital is much lower. So if you remove that capital from the expended capital of 134 crores, which is 13.48 crores shares, and remove 3.37 crores shares, that is the capital which remains, and to add this preferential allotment which will happen. So eventually, after all the reduction which is taken into place, we will be left with about I think 11 crore shares, which will be lower than what you are holding today. So which is the point which I was explaining to the earlier gentleman, this will be accredited to all the shareholders.
Exactly. So the equity will go down from 122.5 crores to some 110 odd crores.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you very much and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please limit your questions to one per participant. Should you have a follow-up question, we would request you to rejoin the question queue. The next question is from the line of Pankaj, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Congratulations, Mr. Nanda and the Escorts management team for such a fantastic deal. I have some one question. See, Kubota Japan have close to $16-17 billion of sales, and a large part of the sales also comes from the overseas market ex of Japan. So my questions are two. One is that close to 16-17% of their global sales are from water and environment division. So can there be any opportunities in that segment, whether the Kubota India, Escorts Kubota India will venture into that water and environment related? And second is that when we are talking about these export opportunities for Escorts India Limited, is there would be a transfer of some of these overseas sales which Kubota is right now doing in across geographies? So all the export sales will be happening to the sister companies, or we would also be directly exporting to the overseas market?
Just trying to understand your question. So apologies in advance if I answer it wrongly. But I think the last question was whether the sales will happen directly to overseas markets by Escorts Kubota, the new company, or it will happen only to the Kubota subsidiaries or Kubota itself. So answer is yes, it will happen both ways, like it is happening even right now. Right? So we also export to our own direct distribution, which will continue to exist, and it will happen to Kubota subsidiaries when we supply to Kubota Global Channel. So I don't think there will be any change really there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks for that. And next, this second question is that regarding water and environment, whether there is any scope for new product segments.
Yeah. So we are focused right now. We are totally focused on agri machinery and construction business. Other than that, like engine, etc., what we have talked about, we have not discussed apart from this any other thing. In future, there may be possibilities, but right now that is not the scope of discussion so far.
And just one more thing. Say, if I see the global sales of Kubota, say out of their 65% sales of farm equipment engines, close to 52% happens from overseas. So is Kubota manufacturing across by themselves, or they are outsourcing some of their requirements of Japan or say overseas to some third party?
So third party we are not aware of, but they have manufacturing facilities outside Japan as well in many locations. So yeah, sales of course they are a global company, so their sales is spread out in various continents outside Japan as well. But manufacturing also happens outside Japan in various locations.
Thank you. Mr. Pankaj, may we request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nirmal Bari from Samiksha Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my question. It's just a clarification that I need on the 26% open offer. So at present we have about 13.48 crore shares outstanding, and we would be issuing another 93 lakh shares to Kubota in this in preferential allotment. So post this, is the 26% offer on the 14.41 crore shares outstanding, would it be on this number or would it be on the reduced share base to have the in cancellation of 1.2 crore shares?
That will be on the expanded capital of 14.41 crores.
Okay. It won't be on the, as in the reduction, even if it happens in between, will not affect the number of shares to be tendered.
No, because the SEBI guideline says the day the offer is announced, on that day the reduction should have become effective. Now, since the reduction is not yet effective, and if it happens subsequently, the announcement is happening today, so that's why this will not be taken into account. So it will be on the expended capital base.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mitul Shah from Reliance Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello?
Mitul
Am
Shah.
I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mitul, go ahead.
Yes. Thank you for giving me opportunity again, sir. Sir, I have question on all these JVs and merger. So, while it would be a subsidiary or it will be completely merged entity and all the assembly and all the units of Kubota right now will be a part of this entity now?
Yeah, eventually everything will get merged into Escorts. Escorts will be the surviving entity. Escorts Kubota.
And sir, then any major change in the structure or it will be like a single company only? Or there would be a step down subsidiaries and structure may be slightly different?
So subsidiary, as of now, there is no plan. The idea is for the same business will all house into the single entity. Now, if there is a separate business like we got a crop solution business which is housed into a separate subsidiary, obviously that will continue. So, but they will ultimately get consolidated into the same entity. They will all be 100% on subsidiary.
So even construction equipment business will also remain like this. It will not be a separate subsidiary.
So as of now, there is no plan. So we intend to continue in the same entity.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraint, we will take that as the last question. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Madan for closing comments.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being present on this call. For any feedback and or queries, please feel free to write into us at investorrelation@escorts.co.in. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Escorts Limited, that concludes this conference.